Raider Station time right here downtown Pulaski. We will check in with Commander Chuck in the Weather Center here at about 7:35. But first, got a great guest coming in. You know the old saying, save the best for last. All due respect to our other guests today, we're doing it the reverse. Our next guest, the CEO of an organization, $100 million plus annual budget. In addition, been behind $230 million in new or renovated facilities in Knoxville since 2003. Gets to work with the likes of Derek Dooley, Bruce Pearl, the legendary Pat Summitt. Oh, and he has 5,000 followers on Twitter. Honor and a privilege to welcome in UT Athletic Director Mike Hamilton. Mike, I don't have anywhere near that number of followers on Twitter. I am extremely jealous.
Well, it's occurred over time, Wade, but it's a testament to folks' interest in Tennessee athletics.
Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl, that's coming up December the 30th against North Carolina. You guys have said time and time again that it's critical for this team to be competing for bowl berths. Hats off to Coach Dooley for accomplishing that this season.
He did a great job down the stretch. When you think about being 2-6 at the end of October, and faced with the possibility of not making a bowl, give credit to the coaching staff, Coach Dooley, and give credit to these seniors and these young men who rallied together and finished strong. And now we look forward to being in Nashville and playing the Tar Heels.
That was a huge game down the stretch for the Vols. It seems like week after week we could slowly see this team gaining more and more experience and gaining more maturity before our eyes. Was there ever a point in the season where you could personally put a finger on it that this kind of turned the season around for the Vols?
Well, you saw things along the way. Certainly we were right there at LSU, and then there was this emotional letdown, I think, that came out of that showed been carried over into the Georgia game. Certainly Alabama was a hard game for us, but then South Carolina, I began to see some things, particularly in the second half. And then certainly the schedule was more favorable in November, but you've got to go out and play those games, and we put it all together at Memphis, and I think that was a catalyst for what happened in the last 3 weeks.
Our guest is Mike Hamilton. He's the UT Athletic Director. Mike, there was talk of Tennessee actually sliding up to the Gator Bowl on January the 1st. For those kind of behind the scenes, can you give us an idea of what may have been going on? What actually goes into these teams as they talk about shifting in the last 24 to 48 hours before actually accepting a bowl bid?
Well, going into the bowl selection process, the Gator Bowl sort of had targeted Florida, University of Florida, to play there, and the Outback Bowl actually chose, and they have a higher selection, they chose to take the University of Florida instead. So given that occurring and assuming that the Chick-fil-A Bowl was going to take South Carolina if they lost the championship game, that ended up in a scenario where the Gator would choose between Mississippi State, Tennessee, and Georgia. And they do not have a current sponsor of that bowl, and so television ratings become incredibly important to them. And so they were very interested in having Tennessee versus Michigan in that last 2 or 3 days before the actual selection process. Mississippi State had 8 wins. We had 6. Our fan momentum had been towards Nashville, and we told them that we were okay playing in Nashville because we thought it would be good for our team this year to be in our state and to have the game against North Carolina, and for a lot of reasons. And so we were okay with it. And the Gator Bowl, the SEC wanted Mississippi State to have that opportunity to be there, and so that's how it ended up. And all parties came out of that fine, and we'll look forward to being in the Gator Bowl somewhere else down the line.
Talking with Mike Hamilton, he is the athletic director at the University of Tennessee. Mike, you mentioned North Carolina. Vols take on North Carolina December 30th. They were originally slated to face the Tar Heels in 2011. UT eventually would buy out of that series. I know you guys actually said that you actually wanted this matchup when it came down to selection in the Music City Bowl. Do you think that may have added any extra excitement, any extra pressure to the players or coaches by any chance?
Well, I think that the fans are certainly excited about the matchup. I've reminded folks that the change in the schedule for the 11-12 year as it related to the North Carolina series was based upon the slot in the schedule, not the opponent. And we actually tried to get North Carolina to play a neutral site game. We tried to get them to move it to another year, and they just weren't ready to do that. And so that's when we made the change in the schedule. It could have been Georgia Tech or Michigan State or whomever, but so the change was made. But our fans voiced their opinion at the time that they really had wanted to play North Carolina. So when the opportunity to play in the Music City Bowl came about, and they talked to us about 3 or 4 possible opponents that might be in Nashville, and certainly it's ultimately their choice, but we told them that of the 3 or 4 that they told us about, that North Carolina would be our top choice because it's obviously a good name opponent, but also our fans had wanted to play Carolina. So it works out well for us and our fans, and I know our kids are excited about playing those guys.
Talking with Mike Hamilton. He is our special guest this morning on the all-new Wade Neely Morning Show. Mike, Tennessee already sold out their allotment of tickets for the December 30th game I had read earlier this month. Did that happen as quickly as you expected? And also, do you think it would have happened as quickly if the Vols had been picked in another bowl, maybe in another city?
Well, I think, well, first of all, it happened very quickly, as you allude to, and there was momentum gaining towards the possibility of being in Nashville even before the announcements were made. So a lot of folks, I think, had already bought on speculation, and then we had our 16,000 tickets available to us, and we burned through those before, basically the leading up to and into the night when the announcement was made. So I was not surprised by that. Would we have taken as many people to Jacksonville? I can't say. I think we would have taken a good crowd to Jacksonville, or certainly we would have had a great crowd in Memphis if we'd been there. But we knew that Nashville would be a good place for us. It's easy for folks in this state to get to, and it proved to be true.
Mike Hamilton. Mike, let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk a little hardwood basketball. They suffered a tough loss, men's basketball did, to Oakland earlier this week. It's kind of been a wild and kind of been a woolly season already with the team regarding the circumstances around head coach Bruce Pearl. On the court, however, it appears this team is all the makings of another great run up in Knoxville.
I think we're gonna have a good season, Wade. We've got our leadership is still developing on the floor. You'd like for that probably to be Scotty and a couple of the older guys, and that's still developing. I don't know that I could say that we have a consistent outside three-point threat. We've got some guys that can shoot it, but we don't have a Chris Lofton on this team. Conversely, we've got a team that can play really good defense, and we've got some guys that can create offense, and it's a tough-nosed team. And Coach Pearl obviously is a heck of a basketball coach, and so I think there are good things ahead. We've got 4 or 5 more non-conference games here before we get into the conference season, and I think Bruce will use that to continue to refine what the roles of each of these guys are going to be. We'll get a couple of guys back. Jerron Maven he transferred in last year from Marquette. He'll play his first game tomorrow night at Charlotte, and he's a pretty good presence on the inside. And then Josh Bone, who's over from Middle Tennessee, is healing up from a wrist fracture, and he'll be ready to go here after the holidays. And then we've missed Ronaldo Woolrich over the last week and a half with an ankle injury. So all 3 of those guys will add to our depth as we get ready to go to conference season.
Talking with Mike Hamilton, he's your AD up in Knoxville. Mike, tough loss again on Tuesday for the Lady Vols against Baylor, but they appear on paper to be as strong as ever. How would you rate Pat Summitt's bunch through the first couple games of this early season?
Well, I think Baylor's obviously a tough team, but Pat would tell you she's got expectations that we have a Final Four type women's basketball team this year, and the reason she plays the schedule that she does is to get them prepared for the long haul and to make sure that they understand the kind of competition they're going to be playing in postseason. So we'll be just fine in women's basketball, and I think when they throw it up there at the end, Tennessee will be right there, hopefully in the Final Four again.
Talking with Mike Hamilton. Mike, we'll kind of wrap things up here. We had mentioned in your intro there the financial successes that UT has had over the last couple of years. I was talking with our local athletic director, Jeff Bain. We were discussing some of the new and unique renovations you guys had going on. Both agreed that you guys are doing a fantastic job. How huge are those renovations, and what else do we have on tap for the next couple of years to come? Well,
the renovation plan, at Tennessee, we've had to do major renovations or construction over every 20 years or so, and we're in one of those phases right now. And the biggest one, obviously, that everybody's talked about is the Neyland Stadium renovation. We're really excited about how that is going, and we spent $125 million on that so far. We've probably got another $75 million that we'll spend over the next 6 to 8 years. But it's transformed the stadium, and that's our stadium that's going to be there for a long time. And if we spend $200 million to build a stadium of that size, if we had the land now, it would be about $1 billion. So construction pricing is favorable to us right now, and as long as we can raise the money to pay for it, we've decided that we need to keep momentum going in that regard. So we've got another phase of the stadium that we're going through some planning on. The most significant project that folks are going to see over the next couple of years, we're actually building a new football training center, and that project will begin construction in March and be complete in the summer of 2012 and allow our football team to move there, and actually the university is going to take down Stokely Athletic Center, and so we have 110 people working in Stokely, and we'll move into what is currently the football complex. So that's the biggest change that's coming in terms of size of structure. And then we've got some other things going on, like we just finished remodeling the basketball offices, and we've got some work we want to do at baseball, and expanded our indoor tennis center from 4 to 6 courts, and it's a never-ending job, but one that is important and vital for our coaches to have the kind of facilities to recruit to, so that we can have our fans be excited about our program.
Well, it sounds like you guys got your hands full up there, but it also sounds like things are going off in a positive light. Mike, I thank you for the time. Best of luck to the Vols in the Music City Bowl, and look forward to hopefully talking to you again here soon.
We'll look forward to that too as well, Wade.
All
have
right,
a good day.
Thank you very much. You do the same. Happy holidays. Mike Hamilton, UT Athletic Director. The Vols taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels in a terrific game. That's going to go down on December the 30th. And tickets may be still available, but you're going to have to go through the box office, and you're probably going to have to maybe grab one off the street if you want, because it is going to be a hard ticket to get on December the 30th. And those that are just now tuning in, that was, again, UT Athletic Director Mike Hamilton. I want to thank him for joining us. Terrific guest.